Hi everyone, it is Sunday afternoon. Mrs. has gone out to collect one of the kids, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to spend some time talking a bit about this whole high carb diet, or sugar diet if you want to call it. And what I've really noticed is that early 2000s, the big cult was CrossFit. And when it came to like the fitness world, you're either CrossFit or you're not. And it was very much us against them scenario. And people that did CrossFit slagged everybody else off, and everybody that did CrossFit slagged them off. It then became a bit more popular, people understood it, and it died off. We're now seeing a new version of that when it comes to diets. And I think previously the diet thing used to be vegans and non-vegans. Vegans would be slagging off people for eating meat, and meat eaters would slag off the vegans because it's stupid. Again, diets are pro-choice. For me, I don't understand why you'd choose vegan because it's moral, but it's not the healthiest of diets, and that's proven. I can do another video on that again, another day. Healthy, balanced diet is what everybody should base on, but we don't, do we? Let's face it. And the thing is, what we're starting to see now, because this high carb diet is starting to get some traction, because people have called it a sugar diet, and you've got some people that are showing videos of them smashing sweets and soda and going, oh, I'm getting shredded doing this, which is not how it works properly. And this is the trouble. There's too many people not looking at the science and the understanding of how carb manipulation works, that are just going, oh, that's stupid. You can't build muscle without having loads of protein. It's like, you don't understand the science and the processes. You're just repeating stuff. And, you know, to give you a bit more of a background, right? Carnivore is the big thing at the minute. Everybody's saying carnivore is the best, and people are going, you want to be on a carnivore. If you're not on a carnivore diet, you're wasting your time trying to lose weight. Carnivore is the best way. But it's the best way to burn fat. It's the best way to build muscle, yada, yada, yada. Here's a problem. I've talked about this before, but I'm going to go into it again. At first, carnivore is a great idea. At first, keto is a great idea, yeah? Because they're elimination diets. Again, I've said this before, 90% of people that think they're on a keto diet, they're not. They're on a carnivore diet. They're generally on high protein, medium fat, low carb. Or worse, high protein, high fat, low carb diets. But they also seem to think that replacing all their calories with protein is a great idea. What you have to appreciate and understand, your body can only absorb and use so much protein that you eat, unless obviously you're on massive amounts of peds. But if we talk about the average gym goer or the average natural person, your body can only assimilate so much protein towards muscle protein synthesis. Once you reach over a certain amount, there's a process called gluconeogenesis. Your body converts the protein into glucose. It can happen. So without you realizing it, you're now actually on a high protein, medium fat, medium carb diet. And the biggest issue we have is the consumptions of carbs and fats together. They're two fuel sources that do different things that your body will not be able to handle prioritizing correctly. It's why people get excessive body fat. You've also got to look at most people's diet. Most people that start a gym, again, having spoke to hundreds of people taking their first steps into a gym in an attempt to lose weight, highly processed foods, really high carb, really high fat, really low protein. So of course, when you swap it round to high protein, medium fat, low carb, you're going to get incredible results first. But it has been shown that people stall when they're on carnivore, and people also start to build insulin resistance because without realizing it, you're causing gluconeogenesis, you're raising your carbohydrate intake. There is some awesome material out there that you can read. There's a book out at the minute that talks about high carb diets. Bear me a second, I'm going to pause this so I can quickly go back and check the title of the book. Sorry about that, I completely forgot the name of the book. I got it confused. I will put a screenshot of it here. It's called Fuel to Thrive, and it's all about what's called FGF21. It's essentially something that happens within the body when you're in a high carbohydrate, low protein, low fat environment. And in this diet, it talks about how to leverage carb intake for maximal fat loss, for body recomposition, so that's dropping small amounts of body fat or adding small amounts of lean muscle. But it also talks about how you can turn it into a hypertrophy-based lifestyle, how to not just focus on your nutrition, but also how to focus on how to train, how to get recovery so that you can make the best progression possible. What's more important is within the whole book, it's really good. It links it to studies, and there's links to the studies in the ebook, so you can actually see the studies that it's based on. I had this issue that I shared body scans recently from my first week of going full high carb, and this one guy was like, you can't build muscle without eating protein. And again, I didn't say I wasn't eating protein. I'm eating protein. I'm just eating less than what I used to. And his argument was, you can't build lean muscle without it. You've gained water. And again, I highlighted the fact that in my body scans, it breaks down total weight, it breaks down lean mass, it breaks down muscle mass, it breaks down hydration. And you can clearly see there's a difference in all the numbers. The body fat mass has gone down, the muscle mass has gone up, and the lean mass has gone up, and the hydration has gone up. There is a difference between the number that the muscle mass has gone up from the last reading and the lean mass. The lean mass has gone up a lot more than the muscle mass because, again, the lean mass includes the muscle and the fluids as well from the hydration. And their argument was, you should know better because these things aren't the most accurate. And 100% I agree. They're not accurate, right? You could get like 3 different body scanner machines, stand on one, get a reading, stand on the next one, get a reading, stand on the next one, get a reading. But here's the thing. There is consistency within incorrect readings. What I mean by that is, let's say scale number 1 is perfect. Let's say scale number 2 is out by, at the start point, it's down by like 2%, but the other one's up by 2%. If I still did the scan a week later and I went on machine 1, machine 2, machine 3, it's consistent from the first scan on that machine. And the point I was trying to make is, we have one machine at work, and it's a machine I use all the while. So although its original reading may not be completely accurate, I've consistently used that machine for every single reading. Therefore, there's consistency on it because the machine isn't changing. It is recalibrated regularly to make sure it's as accurate as it can be. Okay. So where they want to argue that there's no way I gain 0.9 kilos of lean muscle, you've got to bear in mind, I came from a carnivore-based diet. And I'll be honest, I wasn't strict on my carnivore diet. I was having chocolate at night. I was having carbs. So if anything, I was one of those people that was going, right, well, I'm just smashing a load of protein. I'm having carbs to fuel my workout. And I'm not going to worry about where my fats are. But I was definitely middle range to lower end carbohydrate intake. And I've now switched it over completely. My body is fully glycogenated, which means when I'm training, I've got the fuel there. Muscle mass is primarily carbohydrates and water and muscle tissue. So yes, of course my muscle mass is going to go up if I'm eating carbohydrates, but you don't have to be smashing serious amounts of protein. Like I said, I weigh 105 kilos. I'm eating around 110 grams of protein a day, and I've seen an improvement. You know, most people that lose 3.5 kilos of body fat will have normally lost about 0.5 kilo to 1 kilo of muscle mass or lean mass, whichever way you want to word it. And I didn't. I gained nearly 1 kilo. So for me, that's a benefit. I have energy. I'm hitting PRs in my training. So it definitely works. It's just at the minute, there's too much of a cult of people going, that sounds stupid. You should be doing carnivore. Anything outside carnivore is stupid for fat loss. And it's just not true. You've got to understand that there's diets that will suit people based on their needs, their wants, and their outcomes. I'm an athlete. I train. I want to improve my body composition to improve my performance. That's a fact. And this way of eating is doing that. Again, I'm only a week in, but I'm reading the studies, I'm taking the material, I'm looking at what other people are experiencing. And that's all I can ask you all to do yourselves.